10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hello everyone, this is Chris Rennirt from Space Jockey Reviews, here today with a very special guest, director, writer, and producer Nadine L'Esperance. How are you today, Nadine?
I'm really good. Thanks for having me on here.
You
This
are
is great.
very welcome, yes. Nadine, I have watched The Unknown Alter Ego and most recently No Pets Allowed, two
Uh-huh.
awesome films directed by you. And I've talked to you a lot on Facebook over the years, so I truly mean it when I say that it's wonderful to have you here today for an interview. It's great to finally put a voice to the name and talk to the blue girl behind all of these wonderful productions.
That's awesome. Finally, after all this time, we get to have a talk.
Yes. Nadine, are you ready to fold space as they do in Dune and get this interview on to some interdimensional space travel throughout the Milky Way and beyond?
Absolutely, Chris.
Great. That is what the space jockeys do best. First of all, Nadine, how did you get into filmmaking? Take us back to your earliest experiences as far back as they go.
The early in filmmaking, it wasn't that long ago. It was only a couple years ago when
Really?
I made a zombie short for a contest.
Wow. I
So I
thought
did
you,
Maya's Journal, and then I did Madame Soleil's Tea Party, and then I did Unknown Alter Ego, and then No Pets. And these were all spanned within the last 2 years.
Okay, well, from what I've seen, I thought maybe you would go back decades with this. Okay, that's very
Oh
impressive.
God, no. No, I just picked up a camera and made a movie.
So, what about when you were a child? Did you find yourself doing things, playing around as a director, or anything using your parents' video camera or anything like that?
Nope, nothing
No.
like that. I actually just hung out in nature most of the time. I
Wow.
was a very shy person. I was a loner. I would go out, look for snakes, bugs, creatures, frogs, bring them home.
Wow. Well, we have more in common than I thought. Okay. Yes, I'm a
Well,
huge,
yeah.
yeah, animal lover myself. Yeah. Who are your influences or role models? This could be anyone who has had a positive impact on you in your career or in your life in general.
That would be Bruce Campbell.
Oh,
I've read his books and they're amazing. They're a great influence about hey, go out and make your own movie, right? Don't let anyone tell you what to do kind of thing. Budget wise, idea wise, anything, just do it. And that was a good influence. And the Saska twins, because they came out with Dead Hooker in a Trunk around the time where they were doing the zombie short contest. So that was kind of influential. Where I was like, hey, I can do this. I can make a movie. So
yeah. Yeah. Well, Bruce and the Saska twins are certainly great influences. And since you mentioned Bruce, that reminds me of a photo you have on Facebook of you and Bruce together at some award ceremony. When did this happen?
so that's totally Photoshop.
Okay, I was because my next question was, did it really happen? But, but
No.
whatever, whatever the case, it looks really good. I mean, when
Oh,
I
it's
first
totally
saw it,
hilarious.
I thought maybe you know the guy. It just was really well done.
Well, one of my close friends was just like, nice Photoshop.
Yeah, yeah. Nadine, one of the things I really like about your movies is your focus on the human psyche, the human condition in the most screwed up way it can get, and how otherwise normal people can be so abnormal under the right circumstances. What is it
Right.
about that theme that is compelling to you as a subject for movies?
Well, probably because, growing up, I did get bullied a lot because of my race, and I was adopted and raised by French and Irish parents, and so this was kind of like you always feel secluded kind of thing, but there's always, maybe different scenarios going on in your mind about certain things, right? But I
Yes.
mean, you never act on them, of course not, right?
Right.
So I mean, maybe it was just kind of relating a little bit to, we're all kind of damaged to some sort, but some people actually take it beyond that level
Right.
and just kind of screw everything around, mess with everybody, like that's kind of, I think, where it stems from.
It certainly created a powerful movie making force within you, that's for sure. Speaking of the abnormal human psyche, the unknown alter ego is about a woman who is haunted and traumatized by an alternate and most demented version of herself, or at least that's the way I perceived it. It's one of the
Yes.
most effective and powerful short films I've seen, especially since it all occurs in just over 3 minutes. Where did you get the
Right.
idea for the unknown alter ego?
The very beginning of the idea actually came from Lucy telling me what kind of costume she has. That's how it all stemmed. Was she showed up for a meeting and she's like, here's some different costumes I have, and they had the two contrast ones, and I was thinking, maybe we could play around with something where you're evil but then you're also good kind of thing. And then we just kind of talked about, well, why don't we make it look like she's being haunted by her demons kind of thing.
Okay.
Just sort of stemmed from that. And then
Wow. So it all stemmed from a costume. Right. That's great.
Yeah, because this is how I usually work. I work from what I have available to me, and then I build a story around it. Since I have no budget, since I don't
Okay.
have a lot of money I can spend on my films, I just pile all my resources and then make a story.
Yes. Well, speaking of the low budget, that gets us right into the next question. Because I know from reading about the unknown alter ego that it was, as you just said, shot on a very low budget. I think you've even said that it was shot on no budget. But the movie certainly has the look of one with a higher budget, and certainly a budget sufficient for the movie's purposes. And I know from having seen your movies that they consistently look to have budgets larger than they do. How do you manage to do so much with so little money?
Very willing people to work with me, which is wonderful.
Okay.
A lot of people are willing to work for me, and I let them know either I can't pay you, or I can pay you supplies, or I can buy you food, buy your beer kind of thing. And people are quite willing to help me out.
Okay. That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
worked.
far, right?
Yeah, I worked on a movie a couple of summers ago, and that's what we did too. We just told everybody we couldn't really afford much if you just want the experience, and yeah, it works.
Feed people and booze them up.
Yes, yes,
Usually they're pretty happy,
absolutely,
right?
absolutely. Whatever works, yes. Speaking of ultra impressive lower budget effects, I have, from my first viewing of the unknown alter ego, been seriously amazed with the creature, as I'll call it, and I'll quote myself here, hatching, sprouting, or growing from a lump of something on the floor. I've always wanted to ask you how you did that. So, Nadine, how did you do that?
With a white sheet.
Well, yes, but it just looks so, I guess, professional. It just looks like there's less under the sheet than ultimately comes out of it. I don't know. Is there a recessed area under this or something for you to come out of?
Oh, well, Lucy's really a slender girl, as you know.
And very agile, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we kind of made it okay, kind of flat looking, and just the way when the cameras were shot like that. And I just said, make it look like you're kind of big and gangly and stuff, which she is already, but
Yeah.
just the way it was done, and with the sheet and everything like that. And it just turned out perfect to look that way. There was.
Yeah, what it reminded me of is an effect from, I thought of John Carpenter's The Thing, where these things start sprouting out of the guy's head, and all of a sudden
The guy's head, right?
Yeah, right. It was happening under a sheet, I guess, but still it had that same effect. on your imagination. What is that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for.
Yes. And of course, I would be terribly remiss here if I did not ask about Lucy Luxmore. I met her myself as a direct result of seeing The Unknown Alter Ego. We talked on the phone afterwards, and she is now an official Space Jockey girl at Space Jockey Reviews. She has her own bio page on SJR, and I'm really glad to have met her myself. But about Lucy in The Unknown Alter Ego, how did you meet her, and how did you decide that she was right for the role of the unnamed and very tormented character she plays? Now, I know you said she just was wearing the right things to create the character, and so I'm thinking that's how you decided she was right. But how did you meet her?
I met her the first time through a friend of mine, Jonesy, who played a role in my first film, Maya's Journal. And he worked with her before, and we did this Women in Horror's blood drive video, and Lucy was the vampire nurse. He's just like, oh, I got this excellent person to be in our video. And I was like, okay. So that's how I met up with her. But the Unknown Alter Ego was meant as more of a demo reel that Lucy approached me and asked me if I could make something for her. So that's how it came to that way.
Okay. Yes, I have seen the picture of Lucy as the vampire nurse, and that's quite impressive also. Whose idea was that, the vampire nurse?
That was a collaboration.
Oh, okay. Maybe there's a movie that will hatch out of that someday.
Perhaps.
For the listeners out there, The Unknown Alter Ego is on YouTube. I just checked that a few minutes ago if you'd like to see it. And it's also on Space Jockey Reviews, along with my review of the movie, which happens to be one of my favorite reviews I've written. The movie is just over 3 minutes and well worth your time, so be sure to look for it. Nadine, your most recent movie is, of course, No Pets Allowed, another short film dealing with some exceptionally demented characters, to say the least. Yeah, to say the least. The young Rebecca is played by your daughter, Nadine L'Esperance, also known as Tadpole, and I must say that she really hits a home run playing her part with an outstanding performance. As I wrote in my review, Nika perfectly depicts the transformation from an innocent child into a child who is made evil by the trauma she experiences. The stares and looks on her face are cold and malevolent in the end, exactly as they need to be as a perfect segue into the story of the adult Rebecca. Does Nika have any formal acting experience, or does her talent just come completely natural? Because there's certainly a lot of talent there.
It's progressed over time since in my first short she played the zombie killer, Maya, in it. So that's, she got used to the first one. She really loved that. And then my second one, she plays girl guide coming to the door of a murderous old lady and gets murdered. So that was another time she played. So she's gotten used to it, and she's gotten used to being on set and meeting people, because she usually plays the boom mic or like getting stuff for people and everything like that. So, I mean, she's used to interacting with people and seeing people act and do stuff like that. So, I mean, she's comfortable around it enough to be like, okay, I'll do it. And I have no problem with her. And she takes direction really well. Like doing that part was wasn't much of a challenge as I thought it was going to be. I was just like, okay, this is what you're feeling. This is what you're doing. And she just was like, boom. I think we did 3 takes on that part.
She seems to be quite a good photographer, too. I've seen some pictures on Facebook that are quite well done also.
Oh, she is. She's really good.
Yes. So is Nika planning or showing any interest in following in her mother's footsteps and actually making movies?
The last podcast I was on, she said no.
Oh, okay.
But she was kind of disappointed that she's left out of the one that I'm going to be doing soon. So,
well, maybe you'll find a part in there before it's over. Samantha Mack as the adult and very revenge-hungry Rebecca at least symbolically, also does a standout job of playing her part. Samantha is another very natural actress who seems very comfortable in front of the camera, very unconscious of it, making her character all the more realistic in that way. How did you meet Samantha, and how did you decide that she was right for the role, as she so very obviously is?
Well, I met her through the same person that I met Lucy.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and yeah, from Maya's Journal and from the Women in Horror Blood Drive video, and he's going to be in my upcoming film again. So I mean, like everyone kind of knows people who knows people, and then they bring other people into the group, and you kind of it's kind of a little like a network. But I mean, Vancouver is not overly large that way. But Samantha, Jonesy mentioned, oh well, I'm casting her for this part, and he told me, oh yeah, if you ever want to hit her up for like one of your movies, he's like, I'll just give you her email and everything. I was like, oh cool, hey,
Yes.
that would be nice. Of course. So I didn't really have a big script in mind. I just knew that I wanted to use her for a film. And my original idea was actually going to be a zombie movie again, which kind of morphed into No Pets Allowed.
Oh, okay. I have more questions about No Pets Allowed, but I've got to interject this. Samantha told me in a tweet, and I quote, "I bet you would really love my part in American Mary." So I will definitely have to look for her in there. I don't recall seeing her when I watched the first time, but I'll have to look a little closer, I guess.
Yeah, she's got a little lifting up her shirt part in that.
Oh, okay. Then that's okay. Well, okay. All right. Then I will look for that. Yes.
Recall the part? Do you recall the part when Mary is taking pictures of everybody?
Yes. Yes.
She's in that line.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. I remember now.
Now you remember. Aha.
Yes. Yes. Not parts easily forgotten. Nadine, I had a lot of fun writing my review for No Pets Allowed. As you know, I opened it with some thoughts about my own childhood, how much of a pet lover I was, and how much I was indulged in that area by my parents. Thank goodness for that, as I now see the possible consequences. Otherwise, it's always, yeah, it's always really interesting to consider alternate possibilities, especially the more extreme ways we could be under the right or wrong circumstances. Rebecca could have been as normal as the typical girl next door, but with the deprivation of something she loved and seeing it brutalized on top of that, she became the girl from hell, at least.
Yeah.
You did say that the movie was originally to be a zombie film. So then what inspired you to take it in the direction that it eventually went into, and what was the creative impetus behind that story that developed?
I would say my my love for animals, and also being able to also immortalize one of your own pets on film is really cool. Like, okay, the original dog in the beginning, the Rottweiler there, was supposed to be one of my friend's dogs who had to be put down. And I was like, we'll use him, we'll immortalize him on film. Be my rabbit who was going to be in it, and my cat. But then I kind of cut that down because my rabbit passed away.
Yeah.
And
Oh, okay.
I
Oh,
just
sorry.
kept it, I just kept it with the frog and the rat. More simpler that way.
Well, there were some very realistic gore effects in that movie. How did you pull those off? What was your, I guess, special effects secrets there?
I got a makeup artist.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes. This is my first film where I didn't do the makeup except for the tadpole's gun scene. That was my makeup. Everything else was done by Deb Graff. I have Graffenstein Designs. I asked her if she wanted to be aboard No Pets Allowed, and she more than willingly came along and totally made everything disgusting.
Oh, yes, she certainly did. Yes. Yeah, great job. For all the listeners out there, where can we find No Pets Allowed, and will it be on DVD?
At the present moment, it's hitting the festival circuit. I
Okay.
will once in a while make it available publicly online once in a while. Not quite sure when I'm going to actually release it publicly, probably next year. It will be open for, reviews and stuff. If the reviewer sends me a message, I will send a private link and a password,
Right.
like what you've done.
Yeah,
So,
right. I happened to catch it when it was available for 24 hours. You did send me a
oh, you
message.
did?
So, yeah, you sent me a message about it, and
Yeah.
I was busy at the time, but I thought I've got to see this
Yeah.
movie. So what I did, and it worked just fine anyway, but I watched it on my Android phone, and I
Uh-huh.
watched it. I watched it several times. Then I watched it again on my computer screen. It was worth more than one viewing. So yeah,
Nice.
for sure.
Well,
Yeah,
that's good to hear.
yeah. Well, that's why I asked about the DVD. It's definitely something you would have in a collection, I would say.
Well, I was thinking of putting all my shorts on a DVD.
All right, great idea. An anthology of Blue Girl films.
Because you can definitely see the progression from my first one to this
Yes.
one. And even the second one, the French one, you can totally see and then the unknown alter ego, you can see that they're all different, which is really,
Right. Oh
really
yeah,
interesting.
yeah, definitely are. Nadine, I know we're both Rammstein fans. We've talked
Yes.
about that many times on Facebook, and what a treat it would be to use some of their music in a movie. Of course, especially since many of their songs have a disturbed tone, I guess you could call it, just right for a movie about something demented. However, I must say that you do have some great music in No Pets Allowed from The Fight United that fits the movie's theme just as well, for sure. How did you meet The Fight
Yeah.
United and decide that their music was right for No Pets Allowed? Because it certainly is.
The Fight United I met through, and here's another. Okay, the dog that I said that I was going to use.
Oh, yes.
My friend was dating the drummer of the Fight United.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and they play around town quite often. So she introduced me to the band, and I talked to them, met with them, and when I was talking to James, he was just like, "Oh well, I've been in a short film, Doll Parts, like Karen Land's
Oh,
film."
yeah. I reviewed that one too.
And yeah, and
Yeah.
he was just like, "Oh well, I was in that," and he's like, "I had an agent. I've been," he was in a Burger King commercial, this parody cock rock commercial about chicken fries, which was totally funny. I was like, this is gonna be cool. I was like, he's already, been on stage. He's been in front of the camera. It's just like, hey, and he's perfect. He's good looking. I'll ask him.
Yeah.
Never hurts to ask. And he
No.
was just like, sure.
No, it sure doesn't. And it certainly worked out very well. Absolutely.
It did. And the song Rebecca, which plays at the club scene and with the band playing, they custom made that song for the movie. I don't know if it's available online yet, but I think they were just waiting for the movie release. But if you actually listen to the whole entire song, it's basically about the entire movie, which is really cool because you only hear bits and pieces of it in it. And then, so they did that. And the band that's the real band in the Fight United that plays in the movie too. So with all of them sitting at the table, that's the real band.
Oh, okay.
And then like Kenny, the bass player, the one that tries to pick up Samantha.
Yeah. Is their movie available on CD or online anywhere? Their music.
Here, James and Samantha. Oh, the Fight United is available online. Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. I can send you a link.
Oh,
later.
okay. Sure. Yeah, do that, and I will include it in your interview post here.
Okay.
Okay.
And there's also a Dark Slide, which does all the ambient music in the background.
Okay, sure. Yeah, well, send me any of the links you have, and I will put them in there with everything else. It certainly deserves to be there.
Awesome.
Yes, absolutely. You're welcome. You're welcome. Whatever we can do to get it out there into the universe, that's what we do.
Little fun there.
Yeah, right.
The universe.
Yes, the universe. Well, I love that space theme. It's just so limitless. There's just so many directions and ways you can go with stuff, and it's fun. It's always fun. I could go on and on about that. I knew if I had a strictly horror theme, I would have to just be grim and horrific and gloomy all the time, and I just wanted to be, have some fun with it. But anyway,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
digress and get back to the interview. I guess I just don't get interviewed enough myself. So I just, little by little, I put it in my interviews with others. Madame Soleil's Tea Party is one of your well-publicized movies that I haven't seen. I know it also stars your daughter, Nika. The trailer looks great, and again, very well twisted, as I would expect a Blue Girl production to be. Tell us about Madame Soleil's Tea Party and what inspired you to make that movie. I've seen the trailer, and obviously they are having a tea party, but tell us more without telling us too much of
how the tea party ends, right?
Well, that's what we want to know. That will make us seek out the movie and see it and buy it. But I guess give us enough just to make us want to be at the tea party.
Go check it out.
Go check it out.
It's another short one. It's 6 minutes, I believe. That was inspired by my ex-husband met this acting teacher at the French Community Center, and he showed her Maya's Journal, my first film, and she was actually interested in being in any of my films that I made. So with that in mind, of having access to a French acting teacher, I just kind of came up with this idea of using a twisted old lady who's lonely and invites service people to her house for tea, but wants to keep them.
Yes.
So, I mean, it still kind of had the underlying, psychoticness of loneliness, I guess. But
Yes.
so that's how it kind of spawned, and that was that was easy to cast. But the funny thing is like what I mentioned to you is like I know some French, but I don't speak fluent French. But that film actually is French.
Oh, okay. Yes. Oh, really? Okay. When I saw that movie and your name and that having the Soleil, Madame Soleil, I just kept thinking you probably speak French. And
oh, of course, everyone does.
Right, but you do know some French. Okay, so that's you're getting there.
Yeah.
Well,
but
Madame,
who was cast in it was the lead one, Madame Soleil. I mean, she's French.
Yes.
And the milkman, who is my ex-husband, he's French. And then Nika, she knows French.
Oh, really?
And then, well, she's not fluent, but she probably knows a little bit more than I do. And then Siobhan, who actually is in No Pets, the dog walker, she's French as well. Like they're all from Montreal. So I kind of put them together and I said, okay, here's the little script. Can you guys work together and come up with it in a complete French script?
So for all of the non-speaking, or not non-speaking, but non-French speaking audience members out there, is it subtitled?
Yes, it is.
Oh, great.
And one of the characters in it, the paper boy, we tried to teach him French, but he wasn't, very good at it. So we made him kind of, like an attempt to have French. Like he's the French exchange student, trying to talk in French, but he comes up with English and it sounds really hilarious and cheesy.
Well, I guess he could at least speak English with a French accent or something like that. Yeah.
That was sort of made like jokingly in a way. Like it's like, okay, I can do this and I can do this, but let's make it French because it'll be funny because I don't speak French, right? So,
yes.
So it's quirky.
Well, we will be looking for Madame Soleil's Tea Party on the Nadine L'Esperance anthology disc that is coming soon, I'm sure.
And that's on YouTube as well.
Oh, really? That the movie is on? I did not know that. Okay. Well, then I will look for it. Okay. Well, then I will look for it myself.
Oh, it's also on Vimeo too, better quality.
Oh, okay. Then I did not. I've learned something important that I did not know.
And both Maya's Journal are available on Vimeo and YouTube as well.
Wow. I just assumed these were out there and yet unavailable. So I will seek them all out, and I will I will put links to them in your interview post to make it easier for everyone.
Sure. That's
All
cool.
right.
Excellent.
Excellent. Épatant. Comme le français dirait. Yes, oui. You don't want to get me started on that. Yes. Every director has behind-the-scenes stories that are well worth telling, and I'm sure you have more than a few yourself. Tell us a story about something that happened on the set of a project you worked on, perhaps on No Pets Allowed or The Unknown Ego or whatever. Maybe something didn't go according to plan.
Oh.
Something really funny or
Something really funny was when we were filming No Pets Allowed, and I just finished making my cat's breakfast, like scrambled eggs and everything, and we're sitting in my mom's living room, and because it was filmed at my parents' house, so we're there, and Burns starts talking about this really inappropriate sex story when we're all eating breakfast. We're like, Samantha's like, oh, wow. It's like, that's a really inappropriate story right now.
Yes, yes.
You know, like everyone's got half their eggs in their mouth and they're like, oh my God. Had to do with sex, his roommate, and we're just like, oh Jesus, we don't need to hear this. Not at breakfast, at least,
Right, yes.
And not with my mom right there.
Maybe dinner or lunch, but definitely not breakfast. No. Yeah. Since this is Space Jockey Reviews, I have to ask you this. What is your favorite horror film and why?
Evil Dead.
All right. Somehow I just knew it would be one of those Bruce Campbell films. Yes.
Oh, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean it's funny. Like ever since I was young, I've always was attracted to the 70s, 80s horror, right? The cheesy kind of over the top acting and
yeah.
But I mean, most of it's pretty gory too.
And it's another great example of what you can really do with low budget effects. That movie is fascinating in that area for sure.
Oh, it is, because I read in Bruce Campbell's book about how they made it and what the process they went through, and it's just like, holy crap. They went through a lot to make that movie, and they didn't make any money off of it until till later on. And
yeah.
I just really, now it's like a lot of people's favorite movie.
Yeah. What is it that makes a horror film truly scary for you?
I would have to say, like, if you can actually catch someone's deepest fear about something and it freaks the crap out of them, like what we were talking about, like how you can personally relate to a film. So I mean, you can't really say, well, let's say, Candyman's like scary as all hell, because people are going to take it in different ways, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, I can't really pinpoint what would make me scared of something quite, because I haven't actually found a horror movie that's really scared me. Except for Martyrs, actually, I find quite creepy.
Yes, that's a movie that's in my top 10 movies, I guess, of most disturbing for sure.
And I think that comes from being raised, like Catholic. So I know all this religious stuff, and it's, it hits you somewhere where you're like, ooh.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, I mean, like horror movies are all subjected to your own personal fears, I would think, anyway.
I find that the movies that scare me the most are the ones that get at the most basic fears that I have, and that's just anything that makes me get up after the movie and look around into the darkness and feel like there's something there. And there aren't many that do that, but the Blair Witch Project was such a controversial film, and many people thought it was silly, and it scared me. It really did.
Did it really?
It actually did, and I tried not to be, but it scared me.
Wow.
Yeah. Did that one scare you?
No.
It didn't. Okay. Well, I think I've got to say this. I think when I watch movies, I am able to put myself in these really bizarre situations and first of all think, gosh, what if I was really out there in the middle of the woods or whatever all by myself, and I'd probably be scared. And I think it was just that kind of basic connection with it.
Right.
Yeah. Because one time, when I
Oh,
was a kid, I did get sort of lost in the woods and it scared me to death. And I,
oh, did you
yeah,
really?
it
Oh,
actually connected with a
sense.
childhood trauma. So yeah, maybe
Yeah,
that's all it was.
that's probably what it is. Because I mean, that's what horror movies are. It's just someone's ultimate nightmare.
Right. Absolutely. Which, yes, is all subjective.
Yep.
Just like you said. Yes, we're getting right back to you. Nadine, have you ever done any acting? If so, tell us about it. If not, have you ever considered acting?
I was an extra in television and movies for 12 years. I
Oh,
didn't actually act, but I mean, there were times where they'd be like, "Okay, walk like you're all drunk in front of the camera and stuff like that." Like I've done weird little stuff like that, but to be an actual star in front of the camera, I don't think I could do that. And no pets, I'm the bartender, but I mean, that was because I had to be.
oh,
But
okay.
no, I prefer being behind the scenes doing stuff as opposed to being in front of the camera just because I can't focus with a camera there. Like, don't look at me.
What is the most challenging thing about being a director?
Since I do the camera work and a lot of other things, it's hard trying to multitask sometimes when you need to do something, but then you have to focus on someone else. Like there was a scene where we are in the bar and Paul was getting really nervous, like James was getting really nervous over his lines. So I was on top of the bar trying to film him from an angle behind Samantha, and he was just starting to get like camera fright a little bit, but and then he was just like, "Oh, I can't do this." And then okay, so basically, me and Sam were kind of like talking him down. I was like, "Well, you can just, go take a break, no big deal," kind of
Yeah.
thing. But here I am in this awkward position on top of the bar, still trying to hold the camera because he's like, "Okay, I'm fine. I can do it. Just give me 1 minute, right?" So I'm in an awkward position lying there. But I mean, if I had an actual camera person, they could have been in that awkward position while like I went to go talk with Paul or do something like that. But
Yeah.
it would have to be little things like that where like, okay, I got the camera. At the same time, I'm gonna splash this nasty splattered brain on you while I'm telling you what you should be doing, kind of thing.
Oh,
So,
yummy. Yes.
so it's like trying to multitask at your finest would be my challenge right now. So I mean,
Okay. Yeah.
getting people to help you more. Where I actually got a cameraman for my next one, and I got my makeup artist. So that leaves me more to where I can actually direct and get more things done and focus on my actors and what's going on as opposed to focusing on my camera or my boom or like anything else like that. So the next one should be a little bit more organized.
Yeah. What do you find most rewarding about being a director? What makes it more than just work for you?
I would have to say the most rewarding thing is getting everybody involved actually seeing the movie and then totally loving it.
Okay.
I would say that's the biggest reward.
Okay. Yes, that is certainly a reward to know that you have accomplished that. Even accomplishing overcoming the challenges that you mentioned would certainly be a reward too. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Nadine, I also have to ask you about your work as a model in the past because you have some incredibly beautiful photos of yourself you posted on Facebook. One in
Mm-hmm.
particular I'm thinking of, which I think of a lot actually, is a photo of you with a collar around your neck and what appears to be a whip in your hand. I absolutely
Yes.
love that photo. Just a very captivating, alluring photo. And I must say that you are still posting photos that are as beautiful as anything I've seen from the past. So my question is, when and how did you get into modeling? And was that actually a career for you earlier?
It wasn't really a career. It was more of I went to makeup school and I started getting into the local fashion shows around Vancouver. And it would be like, well, do you need makeup artists? And they'd be like, sure. And then when you show up, they were like, you know what? Why don't you be one of the models? And I was
Yeah.
like, okay. And then, like certain designers would be kind of, I guess, suggesting me to other certain designers because it was all like, fetish wear kind of wear
Right.
or like chainmail or like, like stuff like that. So they had different businesses around Vancouver that would have fashion shows at nightclubs and stuff like that. So what started out as me being the makeup artist for some of these, they ended up asking me to be models for them.
So I guess you have
That's
a lot more photos from your earlier modeling time than we've seen.
yeah, there is
Wow.
more.
Whoa. Well, hopefully we will see more of those posted in those throwback Thursdays, as they call it on
In
Facebook.
those throwback Thursdays,
Yes, yes,
right?
that's my favorite day.
Here's me with black hair.
Yeah, I'm going to throw one back of myself as a 3 or 4 year old here pretty soon. You'd be surprised how different I
Oh, you
look.
should. You should. That would
I
be
do.
totally
I just got it from my mother yesterday. It's next Thursday.
right on.
Look for it,
Okay,
audience.
yeah,
Look for it next Thursday. See me far,
yeah, you have
far
to up
before Space Jockey Reviews ever was even a thought in my developing
in your
mind.
little 3-year mind.
Yes, many, many
Basically,
years before Alien twisted me around forever. That movie was yes, yes. If anyone ever if anyone ever interviews me, I will go on and on about that. Yes. No, wait a minute. John Gender interviewed me. I forgot he did, and I did talk about that. So just go ahead and listeners out there, check out my interview with John Gender. There you go. Nadine, I love your blue hair. I've complimented it many times on Facebook, and the name Blue Girl Productions fits you perfectly for obvious reasons. So I have to ask, how long have you had blue hair, and what was your original reason for choosing blue?
I had blue hair for, I guess it would be 14 years now.
Whoa, that's a long
Yeah,
time. Okay,
it is.
it is. Yeah, it is. And so it's a great color. Looks great on you. So it could have been red, it could have been purple, green, or whatever. So what? Blue is my favorite color, but what got you there?
Actually, uh, I've had all colors of hair.
Oh,
I've
really?
had, yeah, I've had red, this flamey, nasty orange color, which was awful. I've had green. I've had purple.
Okay.
I've had lots, and then when I finally tried a blue hair, I was like, "Hey, this is really cool. I
It
like this
is.
one."
Well,
So I just kind of stuck with it.
blue is a calm, natural, relaxing color, and so that would get all of
It
your
is,
actors calmed down and everything, and that's
yeah.
great. It's a great color. Yeah.
And I'm easy to find in the crowd. So
You sure are. Absolutely.
when I come meet them somewhere, and if I happen to be wearing a baseball cap, be like, "Well, I couldn't find you. I was looking for blue." You know?
Yeah. Right. Well, your latest profile photo, it's great. It really highlights the blue hair really well, just in that close profile. So check that out,
Yeah.
everybody. Check that out. I might even put it in your interview post, maybe. In one of your recent Facebook posts, you are in a photo with a group of people you describe as, and I quote, my new cast and crew
Hmm.
for my next disgusting short. The word disgusting is associated with a Blue Girl production gets me excited, as I'm sure it does many of our listeners as well. So tell us about this new disgusting short.
Well, I can't delve too much into it,
Oh,
but
okay, okay.
it's going to be for the body horror contest,
Oh, okay.
for the mascara and popcorn one in October,
Okay.
and basically it is going to be body horror. It's not going to be scary horror. It is going to be really, really. I'm hoping for someone to throw up. It's going to be gross. I
Yeah.
mean, the whole movie, the whole short's basically riding on Deb's makeup,
Oh.
and just some really like over the top acting, and just like it will speak for itself. Let's just say that.
Yeah, okay.
It had basically who you saw is all we're using, plus two other people who couldn't make it for the meeting that day. So I mean, it's going to be a pretty tight crew. I mean, it's going to be a pretty quick, clean. if you want to say clean, short.
Okay, well, body horror
But
is all you have to say. That certainly has a lot of horrific possibilities for sure. And
definitely.
speaking of mascara and popcorn, I believe I saw on Facebook that you will be a judge in the next mascara and
Yes, I
pop.
will.
Okay, well, congratulations. I was a
Thank you.
judge for the Macabre Fair Film Festival earlier.
Oh, were you? Oh,
Yes, I
cool.
was, and it was such a wonderful experience. So many
Yeah.
creative. You are in for quite a treat. It's just,
Oh, well, yeah,
yeah.
I was a judge last year too.
Oh, really?
So
Okay.
that's yeah. I got to meet the head of the Rue Morgue, Rodrigo. I got to
Oh,
meet
excellent.
George Mihalka, which was like
Okay.
amazing,
Oh,
and a bunch of other awesome filmmakers and
wow.
people from all over. Yeah, it was a wonderful experience
Yeah.
because you get to hear all these opinions from,
Hmm.
different people, filmmakers or directors or like, it's just like, wow.
Yeah.
Me, I was like sitting there like, okay.
Yes, I was a judge for the Winter Macabre Fair Film Festival, and the independent films are just so creative and original, and they need to stand out. And wow, there's just so much impressive talent out there. But of course, set aside a lot of time because you will be spending some massive amounts of time watching movies.
Oh yeah. It's
Yeah.
like the whole weekend.
Yeah, right. Well, luckily that one did occur during the winter for me. So it was when it was snow. We had a really rough winter here
Yeah.
previously, and so a lot of time to sit around and do that. What else is currently on your resume that you'd like to tell us about?
Well, I have a makeup diploma degree.
Hmm.
Anything else? No, we covered the extra work. I did do photography for horror nights at a theater that would have a stage show and everything kind of like that. I did the photography for that a while ago. Other than that, it was basically after the photography stuff I got into the filmmaking. So, yeah, everything's
Okay.
pretty recent.
Okay. Other than your disgusting short in the works, what else is in the future for you? Any plans you have that would perhaps be surprising or not the typical Nadine?
Well, before the disgusting short, I was actually starting on a horror musical.
Oh, well,
Yes, yes.
that's interesting because that would probably spill over into the comedy genre too. Dark humor. I really like that. I think you do that
Yeah,
really
but it
well.
yeah, and it would be not really think more like a repo genetic opera kind of thing,
Oh, I love
but
that.
but
Yeah.
like kind of like Evil Dead in a way, maybe with mixed with punk rock.
Okay.
Like it's gonna be something different, like
Yeah.
for a
Okay.
horror musical. Like I mean, that's just a broad term for what I'm gonna be doing.
Oh, well, that sounds interesting. I love those.
So that's what I was, yeah, that's what I was getting into before this short just kind of popped up and we organized stuff for it. So,
Okay. Excellent. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we go? This is your opportunity to talk about anything I haven't asked, which, as I always say, is still surely quite a lot.
ah, I always get asked this question and I'm never prepared.
Oh, okay. Well,
I
that's
know.
why. That's why I ask. You never know.
No, not that
Okay.
I can think of. You're pretty thorough. Like, I
All
mean,
right. That's what I. Well, you know what? That's probably why I asked this question. So I will hopefully get that answer and just feel like I've done such a great job. All right. There you go.
you have done such a great job.
Thank you. Thank you. You have just answered that perfectly. Now I have what I call 5 random questions designed to get to know you better personally. So here they are. If you could go anywhere in the world you've never been before or anywhere in the universe, since this is Space Jockey Reviews, where would you go and why?
I would go to, well, on Earth, I'd go to Spain just because it's beautiful and I've always wanted to go there, and I've just always been attracted to that country.
Yes.
So in the universe,
Yeah.
yeah, the universe, I'd like to go everywhere.
Okay, there you go. Everywhere.
To see, so much to do.
Yes. And there's plenty of places to go. So, yes. I see a lot of food pictures you post on Facebook. So, if you prepared your favorite meal for a special guest, what would be on the menu?
Mexican food.
Ooh. Yes.
Yep. Yeah. I make this wicked Mexican grilled salad where it's like romaine lettuce on the grill and then you make it like a taco on top.
All
it's
right.
really good.
It sounds good. Well, all those pictures you post look really good. So you must be quite a cook as well. Yeah, really nice gourmet food. If you could travel back in time and interview a famous person from the past, who would it be and why? And I'll tell you, this is always a tough question for everybody, but I bet you'll just get it in a snap.
From the past.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Now, it would be Bruce Campbell, but he's still alive.
Bruce Campbell is still alive. I know. Now I'm like, who's dead that I really like?
Well, I guess we could. Since I'm in charge of it, I could just say, who would you like to interview? However, present, past, or whenever.
Present, past, or whenever. Well, I mean, that would obviously be Bruce Campbell.
Right,
but then
Bruce
that's
Campbell.
Kind of,
But then that makes it
it's
too
like,
easy.
oh yeah, there's that Bruce Campbell again,
well,
right?
Then that makes it too easy. Let's just go from the past again.
Okay, from the past again. Let me think. Oh, you know who I'd like to talk to?
Okay.
The person who invented beer.
Oh, do we know who invented beer? As in a name of an individual?
Didn't the Egyptians? Wasn't it the Egyptians the ones who invented beer?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know the name of the person, but that's the person who I'd love to talk with. And how would you come up with this of making beer?
It might have been one of the pharaohs. Who knows? But I'll check on that. See if I can figure it out. If you could play your favorite Yes, I'd never even thought about that before, but now it's just starting to.
Now it's just funny, right?
It's starting to eat at my consciousness. I have to know this now. If you could play your favorite character in your favorite movie, what would be the movie and the character? Could be what? Bruce Campbell's girlfriend in Evil Dead. I mean, it's a terrible fate you have, but you know.
I know, right? It's just like, okay, your favorite character from a favorite movie. It's just like, well, Ash.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Or could be his girlfriend in Army of Darkness. I think she lives a little longer. I think she actually lives, doesn't she? She does.
Yeah. I didn't really like her.
Okay.
He was raised in a barn. Come on. Another favorite character. Well, that would be Wolverine, actually.
Oh, you would want to play Wolverine?
Hell yeah.
Oh, okay. That's a good answer. I mean, that would be a great twist on the character, too. A blue-haired female hero. You could fix your hair up like Wolverine, and yes.
Exactly.
I like that.
I wouldn't grow the sideburns, though, because then that'd just be kind of gross, right?
Right. Well,
we could do something with the hair, for sure.
Okay. Okay, listeners. This has been a very good interview, I'll tell you. I've learned a lot of things. Absolutely. I have.
You mean how silly I am?
What'd you say?
I said, you mean how silly I can be?
Oh, no, actually, no. How many things I've never thought of that you're now making me want to know about, like the beer question, is definitely got me going now.
It's eating you.
It's eating at me. Yes, I'm fermenting over it.
I've planted the parasite. Yeah.
Okay,
so
listener.
Once this interview is over, you're going to go run and Google this, aren't you?
Yeah, actually, I will. I'll probably wait maybe a half hour so I can feel like that I had more control over myself than I really do, that my impulses were not so. But yes, I'm sure I will. Okay, listeners, be sure to check out Nadine L'Esperance on her official website at bluegirlproductions.blogspot.com. Follow her on Twitter at Blue L'Esperance and like her Blue Girl Productions page on Facebook. And don't miss my review of Nadine's films, The Unknown Alter Ego and No Pets Allowed on Space Jockey Reviews. There will be links to those and all of Nadine's sites right here in this interview post. You can tune into Space Jockey Reviews for the latest about Nadine and everything she'll be doing in the future. We will certainly keep up with that as the editor-in-chief. I will make sure of it, as I always do. Nadine, this has been another truly out-of-this-world interview. Good luck. Keep Space Jockey Reviews updated with all you do. And again, thank you so much for being here today.
Absolutely. And thank you guys for being here today.
You are very welcome.